I don't understand. Who was it that took Star Wars in the wrong direction then?
Hello, I started this gangster shit. And this the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello, I started this gangster shit. And this the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello.
That's who. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You're listening to Ethan Van Skyver, 25-year veteran of the comic book industry, illustrator of Dr. Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, creator of Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the biggest crowdfunded comic book of all time, world's most charming man, great big Star Wars fan. Look at this. Comic book/Star Wars from comicbook.com. I would call this website a capillary of the Star Wars garbage tier shill media. Okay? What they do is they basically just pick up the news from one of the arteries. That would be Variety or a Hollywood Reporter or something like that. And of course, the beating heart of poisoned blood is Lucasfilm itself, sending out contradictory stories left and right. But hey, I'm stupid. Let me just read this as though I haven't been reading Star Wars articles all year long, every single day. Star Wars Episode 9, reportedly viewed as a quote-unquote course correction. Course correction? What do you mean? Why, yesterday, 2 days ago, you spent all of your time and energy reporting that Star Wars was finally out of debt. Why? They'd spent $4.05 billion buying the biggest fantasy IP of all time from George Lucas, Star Wars. And then they proceeded to run it into the ground, putting out progressively worse and worse movies with more and more sinister people behind the scenes making these things happen, yelling at fans on the internet, calling them toxic fandom. And lo and behold, if you add up all of the grosses, all of the incoming money without subtracting the outgoing money, all of the outgoing expense, in other words, gross versus net, it looks like Star Wars has made $4.8 billion. Why, that would put them out of debt if, it didn't cost anything at all, if making the movies was free. And here we go. Now, the very next day, Star Wars Episode 9, now it needs to be course corrected. Why? It seems to be so very profitable. We just heard yesterday how profitable Star Wars was and how it's doing great. Why would anyone need to change direction? Why? Let's find out, shall we? Earlier tonight, it was reported that mega director, producer, and writer J.J. Abrams was shopping himself around, reportedly for a record-breaking overall deal. All right, so let's look at this. First of all, who is responsible? Let's take this at face value, because I think this is exactly correct. Who's responsible for Star Wars being driven into the side of a mountain? It is Kathleen Kennedy and her horsey face. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, we believed, was fired from all rumors, everything that we heard. Kathleen Kennedy was taken into Bob Iger's office, and she was literally horsewhipped. Is that how you use the word literally? No, probably. Well, I mean, maybe. And she was told that she needs to, pack it up and get out of here. Her job was offered, as we understood then, to several people, none of whom wanted it. But one of the big ones who wanted it, or one of the big ones who was offered it and didn't want it, was J.J. Abrams. And suddenly, the very same day, this article comes out. Star Wars Episode 9, director J.J. Abrams. The J.J. Abrams is reportedly seeking a record-breaking overall deal. Now, J.J. Abrams is kind of like, hey, I don't want this job. You think I want to be Cray Cray KK's replacement? My job is not sweeping up after horses. My job is to climb the highest mountain. I am Steven Spielberg. I am this generation's Steven Spielberg. Put me on Mount Olympus. All right? Figure out how to do it. And they said, well, you don't want to just make sense of the Jabberwocky Star Wars crap that we've been... No, I don't want to. I want to do something else. So look at this. He said no. Even though he's in the midst of directing Star Wars Episode 9, Hollywood A-lister, J.J. Abrams, is certainly looking towards his future. In fact, he and his team are reportedly working on securing one of the biggest overall deals ever inked. Biggest ever inked. According to Variety, Abrams is ready to consolidate all of his productions under one studio. Which studio is that going to be, Disney? Are you going to shell out? Are you going to shell out for J.J. Abrams? Although no specific numbers were reported, the supernova-sized deal is said to include films, television series, digital content, music, games, consumer product, and opportunities at theme parks. What's an opportunity at a theme park? Is that just like a fast pass? I can get you a fast pass, J.J. Abrams. I can put you to the front of the line for any roller coaster anywhere. That's what I have to offer you here at Comicsgate. While a digital streaming service such as Netflix or Apple could potentially land Abrams and his company, Variety insists that only Disney and Comcast Universal are the only two realistic options, primarily because Abrams wants to branch into theme parks and consumer products. So give him some stuff and take him. He wants to go to Six Flags. What's the problem? The one Variety source says Disney is in pole position. What the hell does that mean? That sounds patriarchal, if I ever heard it. Another insists that Universal has an upper hand because of their continued relationship with Steven Spielberg, mentor and close friend to Abrams. Well, if Steven Spielberg was a close friend to J.J. Abrams, he would tell him to stop styling his hair like a racer head. Abrams and his team are reportedly asking for a certain number of put pictures or a set number of guaranteed dates on a studio's release schedule. The Star Wars Episode 9 director currently has 2 signed deals in place. He's under contract with Warner Brothers TV, a deal which expires in May. And has just over a year left on a movie agreement he entered into with Paramount. Abrams' last film with Paramount was 2013's dreadful Star Wars Into Darkness. As Star Wars Episode 9 moves further into production, Abrams is excited to be back at the helm of a Star Wars project. And what does he have to say here? I learned so much in that movie, and I saw this as a chance to sort of realize something that we hadn't quite achieved. And part of that was simply the beginning of these new characters and their story, Abrams explained. The opportunity to sort of take what we had learned, to take the feeling of who these characters are and what they are, and give them a final chapter that felt in the spirit of what we began. It was too delicious an opportunity to pass up. Where do you think Abrams will land? I don't know. Let's put him in a trebuchet and find out. Do you think he's better suited for Disney or Universal Comcast? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. 0 comments. Nobody gives a All right, let's move on. Back to this again here. So, back to the sad state of Star Wars, which is not going to get J.J. Abrams. Lucasfilm is not going to get J.J. Abrams help to fix all of this, apparently. It needs a course correction, and we've only got one film by super wonderkind J.J. Abrams to put things right. Earlier tonight it was reported that, essentially this means that Abrams wants to have all of his creative effort, all of it, at one studio, including films, television shows, streaming products, and consumer products. Understandably so. Variety reports that Disney is one of 2 front runners, that's going to land Abrams for the mega deal, but buried deeper in the report was a tidbit that might shed some light on why Disney is so interested in Abrams. Industry insiders are reporting that Star Wars Episode 9, the project Abrams is working on at the moment, is in fact a course correction for Lucasfilm. Why don't you people just admit it? Why did we go through all of this rigmarole about toxic fandom, etc., and Rose Tico, poor Kelly Marie Tran? Why did we have to do this together? Why couldn't Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Pablo Hidalgo, why couldn't you just say, you know what, Ethan Van Sciver, you're right. You've always been right. You're right. We have been screwing things up. We have been. Therm Scissor Punch was a serious mistake. And as soon as I created Therm Scissor Punch, I should have realized that things needed to turn around. But no, they can't do that. They can't. Pablo Hidalgo cannot just turn to me and apologize and admit that they failed and that I've succeeded. They can't just admit it. After their recent efforts, such as Solo, have failed to meet the studio's expectations. According to report, Abrams, it didn't meet it lost $80 million, not meeting its expectations, unless they expected a complete and utter failure and hoped for it. It did not. Why would you? It's the terminology sometimes that gets on my nerves. It didn't meet my expectations. No. My airplane crashed into the side of a mountain. It did not meet my expectations. All right, so according to the report, Abrams has a close relationship with Disney, garbage tier, CEO Bob Iger. Now, Bob Iger, I am quite sure, did offer J.J. Abrams Kathleen Kennedy's job. He did say, go stick it, and that is probably why Kathleen Kennedy is a placeholder to this day. Solo, a Star Wars story, ended up flopping. There you go, both critically and commercially. The movie ended up grossing $393 million worldwide, and just 200. Where did the other million come from? Check those numbers, because I think it was only $392 million. That's what I'd heard. So that extra million is suspect. Remove that million. Put it right back to where it belongs. $392 million. and just 213 million domestically. The film has a 70% rating on the review aggregating website Rotten Tomatoes. Man, I'm going to check that out. This pisses me off. I know that's false information. There we go. There's the truth right there. Stop lying about it. 392.9 million. Take off that extra $100,000, you crooks. Stop lying to the people. If I don't care about accuracy, nobody will. So let's go back and fix this. The movie ended up grossing $392.9 million worldwide. Let's not steal that extra 100,000. Let's not give Solo undue credit. Let's not. And just 213 million domestically. The film has a 70% rating on the review aggregating website Rotten Tomatoes, which said the movie was a flawed yet fun and fast-paced space adventure, should satisfy newcomers to the saga as well as longtime fans with head injuries who checked their expectations at the theater door. Although Abrams didn't take Star Wars Episode 9 gig after the departure of Colin Trevorrow, a man's man, Colin Trevorrow. What a great guy. He should have been the director here. The director eventually decided it was too delicious of an opportunity to skip. It's not delicious. There's nothing yummy about it. Disgusting. Don't use the word delicious. Don't use the word delicious unless it's about food and pie. I learned so much in that movie, and I saw this was a chance to sort of realize something that we hadn't quite achieved. And that part of that was simply the beginning. I already read this. JJ, just say it. You started a movie, you put out The Force Awakens, it wasn't that good. But Rian Johnson actually took your not-so-good movie and made it into a hellscape. He made it into a nightmare. He made it into a disaster that disgraced every single remaining Star Wars Legacy character. He did it, and then he laughed about it. He laughed at you. I think, in a way, Rian Johnson was giving you the finger. I don't know why. I don't know what happened between you two guys. What happened? Why was Rian Johnson giving you the finger, J.J. Abrams? What did you say to him? Or does he just have a bad attitude in general? You call this a delicious opportunity? Too delicious to pass up? What, revenge on Rian Johnson? This is becoming fascinating. Do you think Abrams will get Star Wars back on the right track? I don't know. It's like it's already derailed. It's flipped over. All the passengers are dead. What do you want? You want to put it back on the track? So what? You put it back on the track, and then what? It's over. It's over. It's over. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. 7 comments on that. You heard my comments. The train is off the track. It's flipped off the track. Everyone in it is dead. The entire train has been compacted like a Coke can that you step on. You ever step on a Coke can and then kind of poke it and it just collapses under your foot? That's what this train looks like now. There's no fixing it. JJ. All there is, the only thing that's left is revenge. The only thing that you can do now, J.J. Abrams, is get revenge on Rian Johnson, who wronged you. Go do it. I'm looking forward to Star Wars Episode 9 to see the pain. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there. Join the fandom menace and execute your own Order 66 with our incredible line of t-shirts, Soylo, a Soy Wars story, Tico, a Soy Wars story, and our brand new smoking hot Soy Wars Plan 9. Make a statement today. This is the only trilogy you'll ever need. The link is below in the description. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the laughing man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.